So I remember a line I heard, I'm not sure if it was a book or a YouTube video or whatever, but it was the mother of all, the mother of all invention is necessity, or the mother of all necessity is invention? I'm not sure which way it is, but I saw this clip of this Indian farmer who made this great invention. I don't know why it's not more of a thing. There's also a underground city. It's amazing, not in use now, but genius idea. Talking about city and design, I saw this beautifully designed home. I love modern architecture. I got a bunch of pictures. It's really beautiful. And once again, another Japanese segment, and it's about a cafe that's run by robots, but what's even more amazing is who's controlling the robots, so stick around for that. So the first thing is there's this farmer. I'm not sure of the farmer's name. I think I have it on my phone here. Yeah, here we go. His name. Ganapathy Bahat. I'm sure I'm screwing that up. So what he made, I don't know, I guess he was trying to, he's sort of, he's farming of some sort of nuts that are up in a tree. And so he created this machine, there's sort of 3 wheels on it, and it attaches to a palm tree, and it has a motor on it, and he sits on it. And when he gives it the gas, it goes straight up. I think he calls it a tree scooter or a climbing scooter. Absolutely amazing. And he's sold 300 of these. But you see, he just sort of gives it the gas and it goes straight up because the wheels are mounted on the palm tree and it goes straight up in the air. You know, I live in Florida and I know that there's these guys that do palm tree maintenance all the time, and they have to get like a bucket truck and they have to drive over to where the palm tree is and then put the bucket truck up and then go and cut it. But I thought, I don't know if this is a thing in the United States, but this seems like a great invention if you need to get to the top of a tree quickly. And this guy invented it because he needed to get to the top of a tree. So great story, and I hope he makes a lot of money selling it. I don't know if he is. So, you know, when talking about buildings, typically, for the most part, all buildings are built up. But back in the day, looks like, at least in this area, in Derinkuyu, Turkey, they actually built down into the ground. And there's a diagram here that shows there's multiple ways to get in, and there's multiple levels underground. So it's about 7 layers deep underground. And actually, I have it up on my phone here. And so you can see they just carved it into rock. But what's amazing is it could accommodate up to 20,000 people with their livestock in food stores. So they literally just, I don't know how long it would take back in the day, because it looks like one of those things that was, let me see, history, I have Wikipedia on my phone. So between 780 and 1180 AD. So there was no power tools. I'm assuming they had to manually chisel this away and carry it up to the surface. I don't know. But what's amazing is there's wine and oil presses, stables for livestock underground, cellars, storage rooms, refectories, and chapels. And they did all of this underground. And now, of course, you got to watch out for earthquakes if you do that. But it is very cool. And, you know, it seems to be opposite of what most humans do now is, right, we build up, we're going to live above the surface. But they did it back in the day. Probably wouldn't do it now because of earthquakes, but visually interesting nonetheless. So talking about homes and architecture, Stuart Parr Design in New York made this beautiful house called, I believe it was called Clear House. And it's Clear House because there's a lot of windows. But I got a lot of pictures of it. So looking at the outside, it's on a hill, and I'm assuming it's a lake or ocean behind it, I'm not sure. But it's very modern, very clean lines, a lot of glass, looks like metal, not sure. But it's elevated off the ground. It's as if like if you took a look at the top of a T, you know, the top of a T sort of goes horizontally, but there's like the bottom of the T that comes up, like a little bit of that bottom part of the T and the top part of the T. It kind of looks like that. And, you know, the walls, not all the walls, but the exterior walls are all glass. And so you have this beautiful view of this lake somewhere in New York. I'm not entirely sure where it is. And so some of the interior walls look glass as well, but it's all modern. And everywhere you have views On the back, you see views of the trees. On the front, you see views of, like I said, some sort of lake, but lake, trees, whatever. It looks like the shower is actually right up against that, so you could take a shower and have an amazing view. And the bedroom is like that as well, where it's just glass. I hope that there's some sort of curtain on it, but visually, like, it's almost as like if you lived there, like you'd probably feel like you were living outdoors within nature. It's probably very, very nice. And the back of it is the back of the building where the water is. It's just completely glass, so you have incredible views. Nothing really to visually get in the way. And along the side, there's trees. There's no neighbors anywhere. I don't see any neighbors. So it's just trees and nature on three sides actually, and on the other side, beautiful water. The only thing I don't like about it is in New York and it's going to snow and get cold. But visually, I love this architecture. Very modern, glass, beautiful. Love it. So talking about really incredible things, I saw this, and let me pull it up on my phone because it's called Dawn Avatar Robot Cafe. Now, even if it was just robots serving coffee, that's cool. But who is controlling these robots is even more amazing. When I saw this, I was like, this should be a thing everywhere. So these robots are actually controlled by people who have disabilities and are bedridden. Now, I don't quite know the technology behind it. I'm assuming maybe some sort of mouth thing. I don't know how they're controlling it, but they do. And that's all. The robots are controlled by humans, but the humans are actually disabled, handicapped, can't really move. It's great. Now, I don't know if it's a translation thing. I don't like where it says introduction. It actually sounds pretty terrible, but it gets better. It says, once bedridden, it is not possible to live a full life. That doesn't sound good. They should have made that better. So we are sure many people have felt this way. Since 2012, Draw Ori Laboratory has been working towards one goal, the elimination of loneliness from the human race. We have been working with people with disabilities, searching for ways to create a society where people can meet, work, and live like oneself, even if one is bedridden or housebound. That's great, the elimination of loneliness, because I'd imagine when you have these types of disabilities, you're probably very lonely. You probably don't have a lot of self-confidence. You probably don't feel like you're contributing. But if you can, work in a cafe via a robot, that's got to make you feel good, and you can make some money doing it. And so they have a page called the Oraheim, sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, Oraheim pilots. These are the people that are the disabled folks that are controlling these robots. And so you see all these pictures of these people. A lot of them look like they're strapped to a bed, or they're in a wheelchair, or they're having some limb issues. Some of them have like these oxygen masks, wheelchairs. Some of them don't look, they might not move very much, but they're able to contribute. And I thought that was such a beautiful and a wonderful way to operate this business. Robots, like I said, I don't know the technology behind it, but that's amazing. So if your organization can figure out a way where disabled people can help out and earn some money, it's a great thing. And actually, another thing about Japan that I saw online is that massage therapists in Japan, they legally, only blind people can do that. And I thought that was great too, because number one, how many jobs can a blind person get? Probably not that many. And then number two, if you're going to get a massage, I'm sure there's some sort of level of self-consciousness there. But if you know the person is blind and they can't see you, you probably feel better about it. So it works for the customer, and it works for the professional. So great. I love everything about that. Talking about things I love everything about, traveling. So my wife and I are writing a book about our travels, and the first year of our travels is going to be the first book, where we started in Florida, Aruba, Croatia, Italy, Montenegro, and ended up in Greece after one whole year. Stay tuned, watch this show to find out more when it's released. So thank you so much for watching.